So today I'm going to be looking at offset bridges, specifically aftermarket offset bridges, and specifically this aftermarket offset bridge, the Tuffset Bridge. Now this is a bridge created by Dan in the UK, and hi Dan in the UK, and I just want to mention also this is provided by Tuffset Bridge. They sent me this bridge to keep in exchange for making this video, and they wanted my opinion on what I thought of the bridge, and that's what you'll be getting in this video as well. Not their opinion, my opinion. So they're not paying me for this video, they just wanted my opinion on this, so you're getting my opinion. So this is the Tuffset Bridge. Now, there are tons of aftermarket options available, some more popular than others, but one of the main things with most aftermarket bridges that you stick on Jazzmasters and Jaguars is they're what's called fixed bridges. So the bridge often is actually fixed kind of into the thimbles where it sits, and it doesn't rock or pivot as you use the tremolo. The strings or vibrato, the strings kind of glide on top of it. What this does, and what the original Jazzmaster Jaguar style bridges did, was they pivoted. So as you were using the vibrato, it actually rocked that way, so it pivoted. So it sits in the thimbles and actually pivots. Now, a lot of people, including Dan, the man who created this, think that a huge part of the mojo and the sound and the vibe of vintage Jazzmasters and Jaguars is the pivoting bridge. So they wanted to create a bridge that pivots but gives you all the kind of modern usefulness and less hassle than you do get with old style Fender bridges. This is where the Tuffset Bridge comes in. So what am I going to do in this video? In this video I'm going to install this bridge in one of my Jazzmasters. And then we're going to do some sound examples, what it sounded like before and what it sounded like afterwards, and go from there. So the guitar it's going into is this guitar, which is my Squier Jazzmaster's Jazzmaster. Now, full disclosure, this has already got an aftermarket bridge on it. This is a state trem bridge, and I actually had to give this to a friend of mine who's a guitar repair guy, luthier guy, to re-drill the holes for this to fit. Because if you just take the original Tunematic style bridge that's on here out, it won't actually fit, so it had to be kind of re-drilled. This Tuffset Bridge is meant to go and replace, and it's a drop-in solution for normal vintage Fender style bridges that you would find on most Fender style offset guitars, not specific for this. Oh, and I should also mention this, there'll be a whole series of videos. This is getting a bit of a makeover, so it's getting a new bridge, it's getting a new pickup, and it's getting a new pick guard. So this is sort of part one of a remake, of this guitar that I'm going to be using in a whole bunch of videos in the future. You would have seen it in a bunch of videos already, but I'm going to use it in even more videos. So part one, new bridge. Part two will be new pickup, and part three will be a new pick guard. And if you want to follow the transformation of this, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button, all that sort of stuff, so you know when the new videos come out. So I'm going to put this in this guitar. I'm going to show the installation and then do some sound examples. So let's install it. Let's go with that. All right, so the guitar is now here. There's the state trem bridge. Now let's get it out. Let's basically what we're going to try and do is we're going to take this one out and put the other one back in, kind of thing. Just a quick swap without even taking the strings off. So let's just loosen up the strings and see how we go. Okay. Let's see if I can get this out, the bridge out. Yeah, there we go. Strings are still on there. So there's the old bridge. There's the, that's a state trem bridge, which has these little rubber things down here, or silicon things here. That's for 9.5 inch radius as well. It's a good bridge. In all honesty, I have nothing bad to say about this. This is a great bridge. Now, first thing we're going to do, okay, well, let's quickly look at this actually. So this, the Tuffset Bridge, right, comes with this little bag with two Allen keys, a couple of little sort of grub screws, and a pick. Now, you have the Allen key holes at the top here, which loosen each one of the saddles up, so you can move the saddle forward and backwards with your fingers actually. So you can just move it. You move it to where you want and then screw it back in. Then you have the ones in the front, which are only for the 4 strings in the middle, so not the 2 strings on the outside. Because the 2 strings on the outside, you adjust the height with these 2 screws. And then these ones in the middle, these are height adjustments. So by unscrewing this, you unscrew that, the one up the top, we'll get into it a bit. I'll check it out. I haven't tried it yet, but you unscrew that and then you screw that in and that will go up and then you got to tighten it on both sides. So we'll see how that goes. Actually, let's get because it says in the manual to start off with a pick, and you have these, again, let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, here we go. You have these little kind of screw holes, like these things here. And they are just covers that you're meant to be able to, it's hard to do this when you're trying to point at the camera. Here, yeah, see. So this comes loose. You just use a pick to quickly loosen it. Yeah, and that's just a cover. And then in here with the Allen key, you adjust the actual height. So the other side too. And that will then go in here. And I think you can have it facing either direction. I'm going to face it this direction just so it's easier to see the Allen keys over here. So another thing Dan recommended before you install it is to take these, take these little screws out. They should just unscrew in both directions, he said. So we just unscrewed them. So these are the little post screws. He said to take the little screws out, and he just recommended, he said you don't have to do it, but he said maybe do it because it may help with stability in the future. So just do that, grab a Q-tip, and just see if you can actually wedge the Q-tip through there to just give it a clean, because sometimes with machining there could be some oils or something like that left. And these oils may or may not affect the stability. So I'm just running so I'm just actually screwing the Q-tip into there. It's a tight fit, but it fits. Just to clean out maybe a little bit of excess gunk and stuff that's in there. And yeah, there was a bit of dirt on it. You can sort of see it. Let's see the other side too. Yeah, it was a bit of dirt in there. So I don't know, maybe that helps, maybe that doesn't help. And maybe give these a quick wipe as well, the screws. Just to clean stuff, just to keep it nice and neat. Now let's put this back in this way. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, so now here we have the 2 Allen keys that come with it. We've got the black one and the silver one. Now I believe the black one is the thicker one, which is for the posts, yeah. And then the littler one, the silver one, is for the saddles up the top. So first thing I'm going to do, and it doesn't really, it says to do it in the instructions as well, but I'm just going to do actually a little bit more than that, is to just kind of eyeball it and to look at the post height and check out the 2 bridges and try to get the post height so the both E strings, can you roughly see it? So both E strings are roughly the same height, right? And actually I'm gonna, the whole setup, the whole intonation setup, I'm gonna kind of just eyeball it roughly, just do it roughly by hand, and then do it properly in here. Okay, so this is just, it's hard to show on camera. I don't have enough camera set up. So basically we're taking the E string, the 2 E strings, and roughly getting the post heights to be the same, give or take. So these are roughly now, I'm going to say roughly close. Now I'm going to fast forward all this. I'm just going to roughly eyeball, just do the intonation roughly by just what it looks like, just to see what it, just visually kind of set it. So to do that, actually, let's see if we can do some of this here in this camera. Yeah, so we're going to unscrew the little bit in the top the little Allen key thing here. So once you unscrew this, this actually moves. I'm gonna unscrew it a little bit more. But see, that actually moves. You can move it by hand. Let's see if we can do it up here. You can actually move these by hand. So they move forwards and backwards. So what I'm going to do now is just roughly put them in the right spot so they're the same as on the old bridge. Okay. See, so now I've roughly set it, roughly. So it's kind of similar, right? The intonation is sort of similar. I'm going to set up the intonation anyway, just to have it kind of roughly right. The other thing I'm also going to do is going to roughly set it, because this is flat, right? And this is set up for a 9.5-inch radius. I'm going to roughly set up the height as well now. So for the height, okay, now let's do this together over here, because see how this goes. For the height now, what you got to do is you got to unscrew the top. And then with this here, with the front bit, as you screw that in, yeah, see that sits higher now, that's gone up. Yeah, and it tightens into that. So now, let's do it here. See how much higher that sits? So it's sort of a combination. You got to loosen the top thing, the top screw, and then screw that in, and that raises. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna roughly, again, eyeball it, so it's about the same as that. Okay, well this is again sort of roughly, I just kind of eyeballed it, guesstimated it. Come on, focus. I just kind of guesstimated it, so it's now roughly that radius. So now let's drop that in and just see how we go. So this now should just, I should have actually tried it before. This should, without any major dramas, hopefully, this should just drop into here. And it does. And see, it pivots. So this is one that moves that way. So you want to make sure it's all the way in. Okay. So, I mean, that's technically step one. Now what we've got to do is let's put the strings back on, or tighten the strings back on. And then let's actually do the intonation and the proper setup. I mean, this is just sort of guesstimated, but let's see how we go. All right, so one of the things it says in the instructions is to first tighten up the two E strings, and then make sure this sits in the right spot, so it's in all the way, and if anything leans ever so slightly back facing the vibrato a little bit, so it sort of sits up straight, or maybe if, you know, if anything leaning back that way a bit further, which it seems to be doing now. So now let's tighten up all the other strings and then get into tuning and stuff. Okay. We're in tune. Let's quickly check the intonation. You can't see the tuner, but so this guitar is tuned to C standard tuning, right? So we've got a C. And I actually got that right. Got that right. That's good. So we've got the F, next string. That's a little sharp. Let's try the next one. A sharp. That's pretty good. D sharp. That's a little sharp. G. It's a little sharp. Okay, so some of them are actually quite right. Some of them not, but some of them are quite right. So let's get into intonation now. Okay, so now for the intonation, basically, some of the strings, when you fret the 12th fret, are a little bit sharp, right? What that means is I'm going to have to move the saddle further away from the nut. So in that direction, make the string a little longer, right? So let's check it out again. So let's check out the C string, because it's in C standard tuning. So that's a C. Got to make sure it's right. It's nice and in tune. And then we do 12th fret, and it's ever so slightly sharp. It was almost right, but ever so slightly sharp. So what we've got to do is let's undo this up the top here, And let's see if we can move this ever so slightly in that direction. And maybe just there. I mean, that's pretty much perfect now. I think it rattles a bit because that's loose, so you got to tighten that to stop the rattling. Yeah. Yeah, we're right on now. That's spot on. So that should be intonation done. Now let's check how it actually feels and how it actually plays, and if the string height and everything is right. Feels right. Yeah, maybe that needs to go ever so slightly up one of them, but yeah, that's a bit low here maybe. But I know it feels pretty good. I might have to just raise this ever so slightly. Actually, lower this ever so slightly. Yeah, maybe raise the G ever so slightly. Let's tune it again because I did move the... To me, that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, there could be some, maybe tiny little bit this side, although it feels nice, but maybe this side ever so slightly up. So it's a bit more even. Yeah, that's maybe right. Let's tune it again. I gotta say, I'm quite happy with this at the moment. I mean, there's always, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm a tinkerer. I'm one of those people who I set stuff up and then set a guitar up and then I'll have it sitting next to me in the living room at night while I watch TV and I noodle, and I have Allen keys there and I noodle around and I change things and to get it right. But this is, I'd say, about 90% where I would like to have it. There's always, you know, move the saddle up and down, check the intonation, move the whole bridge up and down, muck around with that sort of stuff, play around with it as much as you like. But let's just say now, for now anyway, I'm happy with the way it is. Let's put this back here. Like that. And we're going to take these little grub screws. Actually, let's see if I can do it here. It's very hard to see, but these tiny little grub screws. And what you've got to do is you've got to now put them into the holes of the post to tighten it up, to lock everything in place. So that basically goes in here. And you screw it in until it locks. So it locks that in. And we do the same thing. And it locks in. And now all we've got to do for visual awesomeness is we're going to put those little cover thingies on. It's so annoying to do this when you have to do it so the camera faces. So you put that on here. Get on there. And we screw that in. And then we use the pick that came with it. Where is it? Here. There. The pick that came with it. To just tighten that a bit. Okay. And now that should all be locked in place. Should all be working. So that's now also, I'm going to put the trem bar back in. And I wonder if we are still in tune. We're on tune. So I think it's time. Actually, let's just quickly, first impressions. It may actually be a little bit louder than with the other bridge. That may be just something. I did some clips where I just played it acoustically and then through the amp, so those clips are coming up. But just sort of first impressions. It feels nice. Yeah, there's very little there that you feel. I think it looks pretty cool too. And yeah, let's see if we can do this. Or maybe we can even do this here. Can we do this here? And I don't know if you can see it, but as you play it, you can sort of maybe see it. The bridge pivots as you're using the trem, the vibrato, whatever you want to call it. That pivots forward and backwards. Let's see if we can do it in the other camera as well. Let's see if we can do it here. Oh yeah, that might work. It pivots. I'll see if I can do a close-up of it or something like that. But it does pivot. So first impression, it feels great. It does maybe seem louder to me. I'll have to listen back to it once I've recorded. So let's go to some sound clips. All right, so that were the sound samples. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to have to listen back to it all. And I'm going to report back also how I feel about the bridge in future down the track once I'm using it. Also, please make sure if you are interested in finding out more about what will happen to this guitar, subscribe to the channel. There is a new pickup coming soon by Mad Love Pickups. A Travis Bean style pickup that's going to go into here, and then a new pickguard by Indra Guitars with all stuff engraved, and possibly some new knobs, and possibly a trem plate as well. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure the plate and new knobs. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, so first impressions, I think it's great. I think it sounds good. Let me know what your thoughts are after hearing the sound examples as well in the comments below. It feels good. Sounds good. It stays in tune well. You got to, of course, stretch your strings in again after you've detuned them. So these are the same strings, exactly the same settings on the amp, which was that amp, the Engel Ironball SE that I was using. And the microphone, which is just the same, my talking microphone. It's in exactly the same spot, always right there. So let me know what the different sounds, if it sounded any different to you, if it makes any difference. Feel-wise, I do think it may be a bit brighter, less dull, have a bit more brightness to it. But again, it's sort of hard to tell when you're playing a bit with one and then you're doing a lot of stuff and then you're playing some more with the other. It set up very easily and very well. It plays really well to me. It's about set up like my other one was set up, like the other bridge was set up. It's very similar. I feel the strings behind the bridge seem to be quite live as well, which is good. I like it. Some people may not like that. But yeah, I like it. It feels good. One of the things I definitely noticed is it feels differently to this. So this is maybe a little bit sharper. This is the stay trem. A little bit sharper sort of on the edge, whereas this seems to be sort of everything is more enclosed. So it feels nice. And I think it looks pretty good too. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Big thank you once again to Dan and everyone at Tuffset Bridge. I'm going to be using this guitar a lot in videos coming up as my sort of one of my lower tuned guitars in C standard tuning. So you'll find out, and I'll do an update once I've done a whole guitar, the bridge, the pickup, and the pickguard. I'll do a whole update on a month down the track or however long it'll take for all the parts to arrive, on how it feels and how I like it and how it all came together. So links to everything below. Big thank you for watching the channel. Make sure to subscribe, do the notification bell, like, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, check out Tuffset Bridge. I think it's pretty cool. See you in the next one. Bye.